So we're out here with Edison. We're gonna see if we can use the clicker to help if he doesn't have his down on just a verbal yet, which I think was the case when we checked that out last week. So we're gonna see how he's doing. I'm gonna reset him real quick. Down. Yeah, he's thinking about it. He's got the right answer. He's just not like super confident in the answer. I'm inclined to wait it out and rather than help give him the answer. Good. Whoop, good. Found a little piece of food on the floor there. Whoop. All right, so I'm gonna help him. Whoops. If his bum comes off the floor, we're just gonna kind of reset. Whoops. Good. I'm gonna guide him to the floor. Whoops. Good. Good. Good boy. All right. Whoops. Good. So I'm not feeding him here. I used the food to get him back. Good. So we need to build up some duration here because he needs to be in that position. Good. Until we release him. 2 ways to release him from behavior. We can say the letter O, the letter K, which is his release word, or we can use our clicker. Perfect. Now, using the clicker is a really helpful tool to get your dog to go into a down on just a verbal. However, he's still working on stability, I think. At least in that rep, he had the tendency to pop up, in which case we don't want to use the clicker to release him too much when we're working on having him maintain that behavior if he's popping up out of it, especially where we're still kind of in front of him. We're not like putting him through the paces in terms of like walking away or length of time or the amount of distractions. He's just kind of like popping right up out of that. So in that case, we're going to want to release him with his release word and not feed him after we release him, and make sure that he finds being in that position, that down position, more rewarding than coming out of it. So the clicker can build a lot of anticipatory like behavior, feeling. So when he's in that down, if we release him with the clicker a lot, he's going to be like waiting to be released because that's a huge reward event. So we're going to actually just work on down. Good. I'm using a good reward marker for just, you can tell he's like, his wheels are turning. Good. And the good reward marker can kind of help keep them going. I'm inclined to wait him out. Good. He's on the right track. He's like really close. He's thinking about it. So if we help dogs out too much in the beginning when they don't really need it, he might have actually learned that down means wait for you to bring the treats to my nose and then I follow it to the ground. Good. So we want to make sure that he's actually doing that on his own versus where he's just learned that we say this word and then the food comes and he follows it to the floor. Okay, perfect. Now I should have probably reinforced him a couple more times there for being on the ground. That's all right though. Down. Whoops. So every time he kind of moves or does something, it kind of prompts me to move and turn. Good. Good boy. Good. Good. I want a moment where he's kind of almost like looking at me, but still in that position. Good. So I can tell like he's like, no, I'm going to hang out here. I'm here. Good. Okay. Perfect. He was inclined to get up on his own there, but we did get that release word in time before he released himself. All right. Down. Whoops. Good. Yeah. It's important to wait them out that long, even though it's really awkward. I can tell he's got the answer. He's just like, it's just a little confusing because if I had to guess, I think he thought, good. I think he thinks down is where he waits for us to show him with food and he follows it. Okay. So he thinks that be, so it's kind of funny sometimes obviously what we think down means isn't necessarily how the puppy is interpreting it. So it's kind of funny that way. So I'm pretty sure that's kind of what's happening here. He's like, oh, that is just kind of what that is. So we're changing what that means for him right now. However, he's really close to where he might even start to get it on just a verbal and bypass the sitting first. Down. Good. Good. Whoops. Good boy. Nice. Very good. Good. Okay. Perfect. That looks really good. So like we said in Piper's video, he also might think that we have the tendency to ask our dogs for down right after we ask them for sit. And that's just a really, that association is really strong for him. And that pattern, I should say. So dogs are really creatures of pattern. And so again, what we consider down, he might actually read that play as down means first I sit. So anything like, because that's such a, strongly rewarded behavior, and it's the first thing we taught him most likely, he's going to offer this no matter what we say at first, until we kind of show him that you get much more reinforcement. Good. And you get quicker reinforcement when you actually offer the right behavior instead of just throwing out what you think might be the right answer. Okay. So for instance, we call it the rutabaga experiment. If we say potatoes, it's going to offer us it. If we say orange peels, he's going to go, I don't know that one, but maybe this. And then he'll sit down, right? So I don't want to confuse him too much, but that just kind of shows you, like, when we say down, again, he's just like, well, first I do this, and if that doesn't get me anywhere, then maybe I'll offer the next thing I know, the next most reinforcing behavior that I know. Down. Good. I'm actually going to start using my clicker here. So this is going to look more like the lesson that we did with Piper. So I recommend checking that out for him. But down. Good. I'm going to click the moment I think he's going to offer that down position, even if he's not all the way there. Down. Good, and I'm doing a little bit of treat chase in between. Down. We call that a reward event. Nice, good job. I'm gonna put a pin in that because that's a long progression for him, and I really wanted to, I want to end it on a good rep, and that was amazing. I think he needs a little bit of a break, and that's a really hard thing to know. But I think that's where, I work with puppies and many puppies all day, and so it's easy for me to recognize, but that is an important thing for you as an owner who's working on training with your dog to recognize when a good spot to stop is, because that can be really the difference between a dog who loves to work with you and is really engaged versus a dog that's like, ugh, you're like a math teacher, dude. You're like, unless you really like math, I guess, but good boy. So that's important to recognize. So we're going to hang this up. He's doing amazing. We'll work on this some more with him. Good job, Eddie. Good job, buddy. He's like so much taller. It's like insane. That's so funny. Not that I expected anything less, but just looking at him right now, I'm like, Jesus.